I am reconvening to open session the regular meeting of Fairview District 72 Board of Education. It is March 20th, 2024 at 7:04 p.m. We have established that we already have a quorum. I'd like to ask all members of the public to be respectful of everyone at this meeting. Please ensure that you have silenced your cell phones, and please join us with reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. May I have a motion? We will start the meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of February 21st, 2024, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or any questions regarding the minutes? Nope. Okay. Will all those in favor of approving the minutes for February 21st, 2024, say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. All right. Minutes have been approved. Next, we will move on to the approval of payments of bills. May I have a motion and a second to approve the payment of bills in the amount of $203,490.56?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions regarding the bills? No. Okay. Would the board secretary please call the roll call vote?
Yes.
Well, hold on one second.
Sorry, Jeff.
Sorry about that. We did not get the bill for construction in time this month, so if you're looking why the bills are much lower than they have been recently, it wasn't submitted by the deadline. So that was the reason for that.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Will the board secretary please call roll call vote?
Yes. Christine Soika,
Yes.
Sargon Guliana,
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Diana Diakakis,
Yes.
Esther Tomuda,
yes,
All right, bills are approved. Parent-Teacher Association report. Do we have a representative from the PTA?
Good evening. It was a quiet month. One of the things we did have was March 15th, last Friday, we had the 8th grade students versus 8th grade students, teachers, and staff versus our 8th grade parents. So a huge shout out to everyone who came out. We did really well in fundraising for the PTA. Today is Illuminati's fundraiser. I know it's every single time I'm here, it's like there's a fundraiser. So Illuminati's tonight. If you guys just mention Illuminati's, that'd be great. You guys can do takeout. And then it's pretty quiet for a while. So thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we will go over the school activity report. Does anyone from the board or administration have any good news to share?
Hi, good evening. We've had a busy month so far. A couple highlights are our math family night, which was last Thursday, led by Lauren Staten and a large group of our math department, along with a lot of our K-4 teachers. We had 166 people come for the hour-long night. We got some really great feedback. I know some people in this room were there, so thank you for coming, and a huge shout out to our staff for making that happen, parents for coming, and our students, I think, had a really great time as well. So there is a feedback response form that Lauren Staten has shared with the attendees. So if you were there, we're looking for feedback on ways to, improve and create future math family nights. So that was a success. It was also on Pi Day, which was a fun day for our students. And then I just want to say a huge thank you to the PTA for bringing in the Funkadaisy music group for our cultural arts performance, which happened yesterday. So 2 performances, one for 5-8, one for K4. They were extremely engaging. The kids were up dancing, and really, the auditorium was rocking. That's what I said to the kids. They loved it, a lot of good feedback, and just want to say thank you to the group that made that happen, and the support of the PTA as well.
I do have one quick thing. We wrapped up our winter athletic
program, and just want to give a shout out to our 8th grade boys basketball team who were victorious and won the Little Nine championship. This group of 8th grade boys did not lose a game in 3 years. And so they've been pretty successful throughout their careers here at Fairview. So shout out to them. Mr. Berglund is our coach, Mr. Fakori, the athletic director. And now we are on to our last season, which is boys volleyball and girls soccer. And then also our cheerleading team also competed in the Little Nine tournament that was held at the high school. So we really are grateful for them to continue to have students over at their space and give them an opportunity to see what it's like to be at the high school and experience those things with all of their future classmates too. So really cool opportunity.
I'll just echo that the family math night was a huge hit. It was really nice to have the teachers there on an evening and devoting their time. And I've heard from a lot of families that it went really well, so thank you all to that. And then additionally, last week, several Fairview students amongst other students across, I think, 21 Skokie schools were recognized at the SOAR art display over at Oakton. And so it was very nice. Ms. Chung and Mrs. Clovis were there. I handed out awards to the students that won a prize. And it was really nice to see how creative and artistic the Fairview students were, along with all the other students that were recognized from the other schools. So that was great.
Thank you. All right, next is our board discussion items. Would the superintendent please introduce the reports to the board?
Yes, we're going to start out tonight with Principal LaPaca. Over the past couple of years, we have spent a good amount of time thinking about the way in which we schedule students at the middle school level. And with the adoption of our new math program last year, we knew that there were going to need to be changes to our math teaching time. The new math curriculum requires about a 60-minute teaching period. And so last year, the board approved and allowed us to try a lengthier teaching period for math in 7th and 8th grade. It was sort of a test run, and what we did was we gave a double block of math, and what we learned from that was that it was probably a little too much time, and the way in which we scheduled it, we were not able to, in all cases, have the same teacher with the same set of students for both periods, and so, as we reflected on that, knowing we needed to do something for 5th and 6th graders who also need a 60-minute period of instruction, I asked Mike to run with it and think about how we could do this differently. So his work over the last year and months leading up to this meeting, is what we're going to present to you this evening. This is a discussion. We want to answer questions. We want your feedback, but we know we need to do something different. Our math scores have struggled post-COVID. There's no secret there. And so any way in which we can address supporting our students in that specific area, whether it be through math intervention programs, the new curriculum, we need to focus our efforts there. So, Mike, I'll hand it over to you.
No, thank you so much. And I think that's a wonderful introduction. So thank you, Dr. Whitaker. And just to note, in a kindergarten through 8th grade building, schedules are tricky because we have many shared individuals across the building. So anytime we do look towards making a schedule change, we do know that there is a potential for some implications with different roles, different people's situations, where certain students go throughout the day. And so a lot of that has to be taken into consideration when making any adjustments. And so, really, as Dr. Whitaker said, our current middle school schedule definitely addresses our vision and goals for what we want our students to experience during their time in not only in middle school but at Fairview. And our hope is that by making some adjustments, we can maximize the schedule to be more flexible with being a main goal in our change, and also just more fluid and opportunities for students in many different ways. So in the board packet was some of the changes that we're hoping to make, and the first, as Dr. Whitaker said, is specific to math. Just always going to plug our staff because they're incredible, and some of them are in the audience. That's not why I'm doing it, but they, this year in middle school, had to, the start of a new curriculum, and some of those challenges were just a little bit of the disparity of the amount of time that students had in math. So we were grateful to pilot a double block period of math in 7th and 8th grade. And as Dr. Whitaker said, it's wonderful to have more math minutes, but how that was scheduled just became a little bit tricky because it wasn't always necessarily with the same teacher. Sometimes it was 2 different periods with 2 different staff members. So next year, the change would be in 5th and 6th grade. We would look to having an increased block of time for math from 40 minutes to 60 minutes Tuesday through Friday. The change helps not just instructional time in year 2, but it gives them the ability to really get through the lesson with fidelity the way that we intend it to be done. And in 7th and 8th grade, although we'll be going from the 2 periods to 60 minutes rather than 80, with the changes that we're proposing tonight, it will be with the same teacher for that 60 minutes. So that will be very advantageous for students to be able to have that block of time with one teacher. In science as well, with this change, in all grades 5 through 8, students will have an increased amount of time from 40 minutes to 60 minutes. And the change allows not only time for more instruction, but time to set up labs, be able to do activities that are really conducive to that hands-on, problem solving that we like to do in science. So that is definitely a change that we've been hoping to make for quite some time. And then in core, the way the schedule is set up, there will be the same amount of time, instructional time, that core teachers, which is reading, social studies, and language arts, the teachers currently have. So their schedule will not be changing in regards to instructional time. Advisory was a change that we did make a few years ago, and that came on the heels of COVID, as well as us just wanting to build in time for students to really be able to connect with each other, with their teachers, be able to do our SEL lessons in second step in that time. For what we're proposing in the new schedule is that advisory will still be a part of what we're now calling a win time, which is a what I need time, similar to what our primary students experience. The new schedule actually will allow for approximately a 40-minute block, and right now it's just around 25 minutes. And during that time, they will still continue to do the advisory lesson that we've been doing, but our hope is we can make it a flexible period where students can really get the support they need in whatever area that they need it in. So similar to what is being done in primary, we're hoping to do in middle school as well. Electives was, I think, a great success this year in the sense that students got a real opportunity to be able to really dive into classes and experiences that they were invested in. So I think that was really, really neat. We're shifting to more different types of electives next year. Our hope is to add a few. And teachers, I think, now that have lived it, can see that there's value in adjusting where they need, even if it's quarter by quarter, and giving students some really unique experiences. So we'll look to add some options for next school year in 24-25. And then just to highlight some of the other changes, this schedule allows, which is something I'm really excited for, even though our teams that we have in place right now are amazing, but next year will allow for more cohesive, smaller grade level teams. So with the change, at each grade level, essentially you'll have a science teacher, a math teacher, and then 2 core teachers, and that would be kind of the grade level team, of course, with their other colleagues across other disciplines, but that will be the setup at each grade level. One change will be that core literature and forward thinking, which has been a part of the curriculum for many years, is going to be coming out of what some of our electives are and some of what our win time is. So that's a change that will be made. And then also next year we'll have some split lunch periods with this. 5th and 6th grade will have a lunch period separate than 7th and 8th. The overall amount of recess time will be reduced by a few minutes, but with us having the ability to be able to have physical education daily, we think that all the other benefits in the change will really matter for students. So that's really it in summary. And of course, if you have any questions now or any time, feel free to answer them.
And I'll just add to what Mike has shared. In order to make these changes, there are personnel implications. And that's part of what we're coming to the board tonight to discuss. In order to make all of this work, we need to add personnel. And so what we're calling for is additional math teacher, additional science time, et cetera, et cetera. It's detailed in the memo from Mike. But we feel as though, with some reductions in some areas as well as some additions in others, it balances almost. But I don't think that, this board is in a situation where financially you can make those decisions because of the district's resources. And I think to offer, middle school students this type of schedule will benefit them academically in so many ways that it's well worth the small expense that it might be. So later this evening, we're asking you to approve the schedule change as well as the personnel plan, where we have brought forth all these recommendations as well. So, but please, let's have some conversation about it, ask questions, anything that we can answer or clarify.
I have a question about math.
Yeah.
Big advocate for the intervention and how we did that, like level that weren't spin out but not on the regular. So with the 60 minutes, those children that need intervention, how is that going to look? And then those children that need more but not necessarily meet that spin out criteria, how does that look for them?
Yeah, we hope that utilizing that win period would be flexible to be able to do that. Currently, students that are in the math intervention program have an amount of time that they're out of social studies. It has worked. As a former social studies teacher, it always paid me at times that they would have to miss X amount of time, but knowing how important it was in our schedule, we knew that was kind of the area that they would need to be taken from. So here, it gives us the chance to utilize that win block as a time where students can get intervention, and if needed, the extra layer of what we have in social studies, because that's not changing, is still in place if students need it. So the hope would be in that win block, they would be able to get any intervention that they need.
How do you plan on measuring success?
For the change?
For the change, right?
Yeah, I think that one of the things it will be interesting over time is that with the increased amount of minutes, specifically in math, and just seeing how our students perform on any of the assessments that we have would be a nice indicator. I think our teachers in the classroom try to always get a pulse on how students are doing with the assessments in their classes. I think that for me as the leader is just trying to get feedback from staff and from students and from you all on if things are working, and if not, what are ways that we can make them better. So that's where I kind of look to see if something is successful. I think that at times students will be very honest, and sometimes that honesty is what you need to hear, even if it's not what they necessarily love. But I think students are often ones that are really telling in that as well.
Another question. I mean,
Yeah.
So you said post-COVID, the scores are down. Are you setting a goal for some period of time where you're going to see at least a goal that you're looking to achieve where scores will reach?
I mean, I hope so. I think that is something that's on the mind of our admin team, pretty often now. And since then, I think waiting back and seeing what we're getting as reports from, all of the different agencies or the institutes that are talking about that COVID slide with students, and now we're really learning what that impact was on students of all ages. So I think that as a team, that's something that we're definitely trying to understand, and it's a moving target, but we want to make sure that we're on the right end of that. So,
And we've changed the variables in many ways, and so to be able to attribute student achievement scores increasing to one specific thing may be a little difficult for us. We've added math intervention. We've changed the math curriculum to an improved curriculum from our point of view. We are providing more math instruction time. So there are a few variables, but we're really focused on trying to see that student achievement. And we would say from early look at MAP assessment, which is the one that we most closely rely upon when we're reviewing the data with teachers, is that we are seeing some nice gains. So that's something we will report to the board once the school year comes to a close, so you can kind of see where we were in the fall to where we finished. But a new curriculum takes time. We're not going to see, all kinds of, leaps and bounds overnight, because we're all still trying to figure it out. We provide a lot of professional development to our staff, so hopefully they feel really well equipped. But there's nothing like being in the classroom and implementing a new program. It takes a lot of work. Our intervention teams, too, are recently developed, especially in math. And so, we believe that work is powerful, and we're seeing gains for those students who are participating in that. Another new program this year was our advanced learning program for those students who are above average but not quite qualifying for spin-out. We're seeing gains with them. So it would, we would hope that we're going to see some overall growth across the board in the area of math specifically.
Thank you.
One more question. Advisories in the morning, correct?
Yes.
And is that like a full 40-minute time slot, or it's like just?
Currently, advisory is in the morning. Next year
Yeah.
with the shift, the advisory will be 2 different times for 5, 6, and 7, 8 to make the schedule change. So the way that I'm looking at it right now is like blocks of time that I think will turn into periods. And so the students at the 5, 6 band and the students at the 7 and 8 band will have that win time at the same time, which will be nice.
That would be better
Yeah.
for if they need extra help.
Yeah.
And it is currently about 25 minutes.
Yes, and that is first thing in the morning.
I just want to clarify, I think I got it, but for everyone, so time that a lot of for core literature and forward thinking and recess is now being shifted to math, science, and WIN, and then times start and end times don't change. They just.
Correct.
That's the makeup. Okay.
Just the makeup of the day, but not the day will start at the same time and end at the same time, and Mondays as well.
Any other questions? No?
All right. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Mrs. Gross is going to provide us with a preschool update. And, you know, while we've had updates kind of monthly since registration opened, I've asked Carly just to provide you the most recent news, including the personnel impacts with the opening of our preschool. We knew that we opened new classrooms, there are going to be new teachers needed, et cetera, but Carly's going to provide you a report on that.
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here to give the board an update on Fairview's preschool. Beginning in January of this year, families have had the opportunity to apply and register for preschool. As of today, we have 26 children registered, which is really exciting. Most of the students are District 72 residents. However, families are continuing to apply and register, which is really exciting. Open enrollment will continue as spots are open and will close when spots are no longer available. We have spent this school year really gathering information to investigate curriculum options, assessment tools, furniture, and staffing needs. The district will be adopting Creative Curriculum and Teaching Strategies Gold as the base curriculum for preschool. Creative Curriculum is supported and endorsed by ISB and will support our application for grant funding next year. Creative Curriculum is based on project-based learning and is aligned with Illinois Early Learning Standards. It also includes communication tools for families, and which is really important for our early childhood students and families. The assessment tool, called Teaching Strategies Gold, correlates directly with the Creative Curriculum. It allows teachers to incorporate assessment into their daily instruction, so no additional assessment is needed. Additionally, classroom furniture has been selected and purchased. Orders have been submitted for the 2 new classrooms. We are hoping to receive all these new items this summer. Lastly, we are very thankful to have qualified internal candidates for the 2 preschool teaching positions. We are recommending for the board for those positions to be filled internally. Additionally, we are recommending to increase our nursing support. Our current part-time nurse has agreed to move to full-time next year, which is exciting. Our team is really looking forward to finding qualified candidates for 2 teaching assistant positions, an additional .4 speech-language pathologist, and an additional social worker. Additional staffing may be discussed as enrollment is finalized. We are really excited to see our new Falcons this August, and we're really looking forward to all the excitement that is coming our way. Any questions for me? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next up is the personnel plan report. Do we have that we can put up on the screen? No, we don't. Okay. In your packet, there was provided the personnel plan, a proposal for next school year. Patrick, is there a way to pull that up? Because the audience should see that. Thank you. Mr. Fair, could you just provide an overview of how this is set up and what we're going to focus on while Patrick pulls up the report itself.
Is it up there? We're looking. Okay. So in the board packet, it's set up, I believe it's a 5-year look back, and we look at every position listed alphabetically on there with the number of FTEs per position. The first segment is the certified staff. The next segment is the administration, and the last segment is the support staff. You'll notice on there that I've highlighted in green those positions which are going up, and highlighted in red those positions which are going down. We talked about the 2 additional teachers that will be added, and then the additional middle school teachers that will be added per Mike's presentation tonight. So as you'll see there, certified staff will be going from approximately 74.1 FTEs up to 78.5, I believe. Am I reading? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you'll see the summary on the left there too. But we're going up in speech and language, 0.4. We're moving that 0.6 position to a full-time to accommodate more minutes. Second grade is moving down based on enrollment. Core lit is being morphed into the electives to make the schedule work. We are increasing the innovation from 0.67 to 1, and then moving we had part of that was in science previously. We're increasing preschool obviously from 0 to 2, moving up in science from 2.66 to 4, and then moving up in math from 3.33 to 4. We had some staff members that were split amongst multiple different subject areas. This is for budgeting purposes as well. We look at, and in fact, now that the schedule is changing, we're going to change the budget so there's a 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, straightforward. Right now, a lot of the middle school classes are lumped to the 5th, 6th core, 7th, 8th, so that'll make it easier for the business office as well. But that is the summary right there and how it's broken down.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Healy, for getting that up. I think it's important for people to be able to see. We tried to make this as clear as possible. We feel that the additions and subtractions, like I said, nearly balance one another out. We're recommending the changes because we do think it will put our students in the best educational environment for success in those academic areas that we discussed. So I'd be happy to answer questions from the board, thoughts, anything that wasn't clear. Okay, then we'll carry on. The last item is the superintendent's report for March. And really, we've hit most of the highlights here. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's anything that you were wondering about. But we've discussed, a vast majority of what's been included.
All right, next up is our board committees and representatives. We'll start with Buildings, Grounds, and Transportation Committee. Jackie, do you have an update?
Oh, I don't have the notes in front of me, actually. We had a meeting last month and discussed summer projects, construction.
Yep.
You can help me out, sorry.
Yeah, we talked a bit about what's on tap for spring break. Casio and his team have a variety of regular maintenance types of activities that they do while students aren't in the building. We also met with Quinn Construction to confirm there will be a lot of landscaping going on during spring break. If the weather cooperates, which you never know. But we're hoping to finish off all of the landscaping. There are punch list items inside the building. There's a heating issue that we're hoping to resolve with that contractor. So there will be a variety of activities going on during the spring break week when students aren't here. It's a good time for us to get that work done. We also spoke about our nighttime cleaning. Oh, did you?
Yeah, now I have
Okay.
the custodial, the cleaning, and we have the open bid that's coming out for next year with the custodial team that we have, and to see if they're staying competitive or what other companies are out there, but I think
That was pretty much it.
Can I ask, I know the basketball courts, I know that's part of Skokie, but do you have any updates from them on when that would be paved and lined? And
So the Skokie Park District is also waiting on weather. What I've been told is that we need to have consistent temperatures at a certain level before they can finish the court and line the courts, but they're pretty close to being ready. It's our understanding that the temporary road, construction road, is going to be removed over spring break and the area repaired to the way it was previously. So that's another step towards finishing the courts in that area. So. But it's all weather dependent. I know it's on their radar. I've met with them here on site a couple weeks ago. They're anxious to get the courts back open. The community has been very patient. It's been a long time. I don't think there will be any delay in that. There's a contractor lined up. It's ready to go once we have the right weather for it.
And Raphael is not here this evening. I don't know if you have any additional updates from Ed Red? No?
No.
Okay. NTDSE, Jackie, do you have any reports to share?
Yes, we had a meeting last week. Well, before I get into that, I want to shout out to Mr. Clift and Mr. Lays from NCDSE. They were recognized this month under their Friend of NCDSE program for going above and beyond for the NTDS students. So thank you to those two. So last week we had a meeting with NTDSE and we had a handful of approvals that we went through with the 2024-2025 calendar, the administrative contracts, the director Taryn, we had continued her contract, and again, some work coming up in the spring, summer. We did that, and then one more thing. I know there was some talk in our community recently that the Fairview would not continue with 2 NCDSE classes next year, which just wanted to make a statement with the board that is inaccurate. I did confirm with Taryn, and I did confirm with Cindy at Fairview. So we're happy that I'm not sure where that theory came up, but it definitely will have 2 NCDSE class rooms next year at Fairview. And just want to throw a statement to encourage the community that if there's any questions, anything that they want to communicate or ask, they can come to myself, the board, Cindy, and clarify. So thank you.
And just a little bit further on that, the commitment to NTDSE is a 3-year commitment, so that those students and families and teachers would be in one place for at least 3 years. It doesn't mean it's limited to a 3-year commitment. What it means is that we will readdress it as we get closer to that 3rd year. And just to echo what Mrs. Boujde said, if there are questions, please just ask. It is hurtful when rumors are spread and people haven't just inquired with the district to find out, exactly what's going on. I would suspect because of the opening of preschool, people are kind of trying to connect dots that we're opening preschool and then we won't have room, but we have plenty of room for preschool as well as the NTDSE classes and all of the classes that Mr. Lepaka spoke of, because when you add teachers, you need teaching spaces too. So anyway, just really encourage people to communicate, to ask questions. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. PTA Representative Christine, do you have any updates?
Nothing more than what Sylvia presented.
All right, and we will move on to Freedom of Information. Regarding Freedom of Information Act requests, I can report that there was 1 Freedom of Information Act received since the last board meeting, and it was responded to as required. Information items and correspondence? No, Jackie?
We have 1 submission from Alyssa Goodnight, thanking the board for the baby gift sent.
Okay, awesome. At this time, I would like to invite the members of the audience to address the board in public comment. If you wish to address the board, please come to the microphone, state your name, and a 3-minute time limit will be set. The board secretary will keep the time. Anybody?
Hello, my name is Roxanne Salgado. I'm a parent of a 13-year-old 7th grader and a 9-year-old 3rd grader. First, thank you for the PTA for the culturally responsive assembly. My kids both came home that day very excited about it. Also, Northlight Theater, thank you. My daughter just had a play and she is very much enjoying that addition. to Fairview. And yay to the Niles Township, to the NTDSE classes. That's great to hear. I'm here to introduce myself to the school board members that may not know me, and also community here who here. My name is Roxanne Salgado, as mentioned. I was recently in a lawsuit with this school district for discrimination and lack of curriculum that's culturally responsible. And so I'm here to say that our ask, we are no longer in it because we were threatened with sanctions and extra fees. But I do want to make it clear that our asks were not radical or overreaching. Me and the other family, we had one-on-one conversations with administrators about the racist vandalism that was taking place during the time, which was a couple years ago, and also racist language going on the playground. And I repeatedly asked for a clear denunciation of racism and white supremacy because we were seeing that come up in our community. And so, you know, I did everything that I could, I felt like, and which led me to the lawsuit. And now I'm here because recently the 7th graders were presented a Black History presentation to celebrate Black History in February. And sadly, that presentation started with slavery, followed with unemployment rate among Black men, and incarceration rate among Black men, and a wage gap among Black people in America. And so to me, that's not a celebration. Celebration should be celebrating the accomplishments of Black Americans in this country. And I'm just here to say I'm really disappointed. I feel very stuck. The whole purpose of me advocating for my kids is for them both to feel like they belong and they feel seen and included. And to this day, my son, who's a 9-year-old, doesn't feel that way. Today, he came home sharing that he doesn't. So I don't know what to do anymore, but I'm here to inform you as school board members that I've been advocating for my kids as a parent, completely rational human being, and for you all to hear my story. And I hope that, you know, when you go home today, talk to your kids about what's being taught at school, and hopefully you educate them, you know, differently and in a more empowering, enlightening, and celebratory way about other different races in this country. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to do a public comment?
Good evening. My name is Dr. Terrence Gadsden. I am a parent of 2 Fairview students here, one in the middle school and one in elementary school. And it pains me tonight to have to come to this mic to express my deep frustration and disappointment in Fairview in regards to the school-wide celebration of Black History Month. Black history is American history, it's world history. I want my kids, when they come to this school, to feel seen, right? I want them to understand other cultures. My kids are bicultural. They represent African American culture and Asian Indian culture. And I want them to learn other cultures. I want them to see other cultures. As many educators know, there should be windows and mirrors. They should be able to see themselves in the curriculum, and they should learn from others and other cultures. In the month of February, this school took the 8th graders took a field trip to the Holocaust Museum, which is a wonderful thing, right? Learning culture. In the month of February, same month, you had Chinese New Year celebration in the nest, in the library. But it seems that, you know, when it comes to Black culture, Black history, it's left on the back burner, and I think that is. It doesn't share the diversity that you claim that you represent. I believe there's enough room at the table to celebrate all cultures in this school, in this community. And as the parent just before me shared, you know, this presentation that my daughter got in the 7th grade in her class, everyone in here should be embarrassed. Everyone in here should be embarrassed about this presentation that was given to my 7th grade daughter. It did not share any celebratory thing about her culture, our culture. And the audacity to start our culture with the enslavement of my people, our people. And I understand that, yes, it's a part of our history, it's a part of our story, but it's not the entire part of our story. And just imagine you sitting in a classroom and someone sharing about your culture and you hearing just the negative aspects of your culture. Think about what that does to a child. And so what I'm saying is that you need to do better. You have to do better. When the community is saying that you have blind spots, you need to listen. If you're not going to listen to someone who does this work at the college level in the city of Chicago, please listen to someone else. But you need to do better. You have to do better. There was no celebration. There was no acknowledgement of the achievements that have been made and the contributions that we're benefited from this day. And I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. And I don't think these are hard asks. You have the Sabo Museum on the South Side. You have the Black Ensemble Theater in Uptown, North Side. So there's no excuses. And I think when you know better, you should do better. And just remember this: diversity without shared power is tokenism. Diversity without shared power is tokenism. And so you have to share power. You have to share what diversity really looks like. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I can confirm that there were no online comments received for today. All right. The next items are action items. May I have a motion and a second to approve the middle school schedule?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? No? Okay. Board Secretary, can you please call a roll call vote?
Yes. Sargon Guliana,
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Christine Soika,
Yes.
Diana Diakakis,
Yes. Esther?
Esther.
Yes.
Tamura, sorry.
Okay, perfect. May I have a motion and a second to approve the non-tenured teacher contracts for the 2024-2025 school year?
So moved.
I'll second.
I'm going to continue with Christine.
Okay, any questions or comments before we move on? No? All right. Will the board secretary please call a roll call vote?
Yes. Diana Diakakis?
Yes.
Christine Soika?
Yes.
Sargon Guliana?
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Esther Tamura?
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. May I have a motion and a second to approve the part-time teacher contracts for the 2024-2025 school year?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Esther? Any questions?
No.
Okay. Board Secretary, can you please call a roll call vote?
Yes. Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Christine Soika?
Yes.
Diana Diakakis?
Yes.
Sargon Guliana?
Yes.
Esther Tamura?
Yes.
All right. May I have a motion and a second to approve the fiscal year 25 personnel plan?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Board Secretary, can you please call a roll call vote?
Yes. Christine Soika?
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Sargon Guliana?
Yes.
Diana Diakakis?
Yes.
Esther Tamura?
Yes.
All right. And we are not, we're pulling off the possible resignations of certified staff members for today. Any items for future consideration for today's meeting? Oh, next month we will do the, what's it called? Right. Okay, never mind. Wrong place. All right, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting of Fairview Board of Education at 7:48 PM, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, will the board secretary please call a roll call vote?
Yes. Diana Diakakis?
Yes.
Sargon Guliana?
Yes.
Jacqueline Boujde, yes. Christine Soika?
Yes.
Esther Tamura?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.